Good evening. We find ourselves tonight in a moment of profound quiet, a space where the frantic pulse of the modern world finally begins to slow. As we drift toward the threshold of sleep, let us reflect on the nature of memory. We often think of history as a rigid structure, a collection of cold dates and distant names etched into stone. Yet, history is not a statue. It is a living, breathing texture, a collection of echoes that only reveal themselves when we are still enough to listen. Tonight we are going to explore a revolution that is taking place in the way we connect with our ancestors. This is the story of the Immersive History movement, a shift away from the loud and the spectacular toward a deeper, calmer, and more human understanding of our shared past. Before we descend into this narrative, let us chart our course through the shadows of time. We will begin by examining the core philosophy of slow history, a rejection of traditional documentary style in favor of emotional resonance and cognitive ease. From there, we will meet the digital pioneers, the creators and storytellers who have spent years perfecting the art of the historical deep dive. We will then pull back the curtain on the technology stack that makes this immersion possible, from the architectural wonders of Unreal Engine 5 to the complex ethics of AI voice cloning. Finally, we will look toward the horizon, exploring the rise of historical wellness and the way museums are transforming into sanctuaries of sensory reflection. It is a long journey, but one designed to carry you gently into the night. Now I ask you to prepare your surroundings for this transition. Lower the brightness of your screens and let the shadows in your room grow long. Find a position that offers you total repose, releasing the tension from your shoulders and your jaw. Allow your breathing to become a steady, rhythmic pulse. The world is soft now. The archives are open. Let us begin. To understand this movement, we must first look at the concept of slow history. For decades, historical media was dominated by what scholars call the great man theory. It was a narrative of kings, generals, and conquerors, delivered with booming music and rapid visual cuts meant to startle the senses. But as we move into the mid-2020s, a new philosophy has taken hold. This is the era of the human experience. Instead of looking down at the map from a general's tent, we are now looking at the grain of the wood on a soldier's writing desk. We are smelling the specific blend of salt and wood smoke in a 14th century harbor. This shift is grounded in the principle of cognitive ease. By lowering the stakes and the stress of the delivery, storytellers are finding that the human brain becomes more receptive to deep, long-term learning. It is a state of flow, a meditative engagement where the past is not just learned, but felt. This leads us to our first major chapter, the titans of the digital landscape. Between 2024 and 2026, a handful of creators redefined the aesthetic of the past. Consider the work of Voices of the Past. Their approach is deceptively simple. They find a primary source, a diary or a letter, and they read it. There are no frantic reenactments. There is only the rhythm of the words as they were intended. When you hear the calm account of a knight describing the weight of his armor or the specific chill of a morning in the Levant, the epistemic wall begins to crumble. Then there are the practitioners of historical roleplay ASMR. These creators use period-accurate soundscapes to guide listeners through 9-hour deep rest cycles. Imagine the sound of a quill scratching on parchment in a quiet scriptorium, or the exact frequency of rain hitting a thatched roof. This is not just background noise. It is a meticulously crafted sound bubble designed to ground the listener in a specific coordinate of time. Other pioneers, such as those behind History of the Universe or History Time, use cinematic, deep-voiced narration to capture the grand sweep of millennia. Creators like Told in Stone focus on the biography of places, walking us through the ruins of Rome or Greece with a scholarly but soothing delivery. This brings us to the machinery of memory, the technology stack that has moved from merely visualizing history to allowing us to experience its sensory texture. The year 2025 has seen a breakthrough in what some call generative nostalgia. Through AI voice cloning platforms like 11 Labs and Respeecher, creators are now able to give a voice to the voiceless. They can now reconstruct the specific cadence of a 19th century orator or create new mystery storyteller personas. These voices are optimized for your maximum relaxation. But the immersion goes deeper than just the voice. We have to consider the role of spatial and ambisonic audio in modern documentaries. In these worlds, the soundscape is three-dimensional. If a 14th century coin drops on a tavern table, you hear the exact metallic clink of medieval alloy. This level of detail triggers a biological response. It creates a sense of being present in a world that no longer exists. Using Unreal Engine 5, small teams are now building digital twins of ancient cities. We are no longer limited to static illustrations or dry maps. We can take walking tours of a hyper-realistic Alexandria or Tenochtitlan. The lighting is even calculated based on the precise atmospheric conditions of the era. Tools like re-experiencing history generate these visuals from scholarly text and archaeological data. This ensures immersion never sacrifices the integrity of the truth. But why does this format resonate so deeply with us? The answer lies in the psychology of calm immersion. Research from 2025 shows that this storytelling acts as an empathy machine. Engaging with history through a slow, first-person perspective triggers effective learning. This process elicits higher levels of compassion and connection than any textbook. We aren't just memorizing facts. We are developing an emotional vocabulary for the past. Then there is the matter of nano-learning and retention. Studies indicate that digestible 10-minute segments of calm narrative improve information retention by 30%. In a world of infinite distraction, the slow pace of this movement provides a sanctuary for the mind. This has birthed what experts call the whisper economy. This market is now valued at $1.5 billion. Audiences are no longer just looking for entertainment, they are looking for mental hygiene. They are using stories of the Silk Road or corporate empires to transition from daily stress into restorative sleep. Looking toward 2026, the trends suggest that this movement is moving beyond our screens and into our physical world. We are seeing the rise of historical wellness. Museums like the Phoenix in Rotterdam are leading this charge by launching silent hours. These sensory exhibits use light and sound instead of dense blocks of text. It is a form of communal meditation on the human journey. We are also seeing the development of personalized AI-driven soundscapes. Imagine an AI that monitors your biometrics via a wearable device. If the system detects a high heart rate, it automatically slows the narration to help you rest. Even archival footage is being transformed. Real-time AI restoration can now bring 19th century talking heads to life with photorealistic clarity. We can see the micro-expressions of people who have been gone for over a century. To master this style, creators follow the ASR framework. First, there is atmosphere. A story begins with 30 seconds of pure environmental sound, like the crackle of a hearth or a distant prairie wind. This prepares the listener's brain for the shift in time. Second, there is the source. The narrative must be anchored in a single, personal I. Whether it is a diary entry or a witness account, it creates an immediate human connection. Finally, there is rhythm. The narration must maintain a heartbeat pace of 120 to 140 words per minute. This cadence is scientifically aligned with a meditative state. However, we must acknowledge that this movement is not without its complexities. There is a delicate balance between mythology and actual history. We must remain skeptical of narratives that flatten the past into simple tales. The true power of immersive history lies in embracing the morally complicated. We must confront the human cost of empire and the harsh realities of labor. A truly immersive story does not look away from the darkness. It simply describes the past with a voice that is steady, honest, and calm. It is in this complexity that we find the true texture of the past. As we reach the end of our journey tonight, I want to thank you for joining me in this exploration of the quiet revolution. The story of history is still being written, not just in the books, but in the way we choose to remember. The tools we have discussed, the AI personas, the spatial audio, the slow narratives, are all just ways of reaching across the void to touch the hands of those who came before us. They remind us that while the world changes, the human heart, with its need for story and for peace, remains the same. As you settle deeper into your rest, remember that the past is not gone. It is simply waiting for the world to grow quiet enough for its voice to be heard. Rest easy now. The stars are high, and the history of the world is a long, gentle road that leads exactly where you need to be. Before you fully drift away, I would love to know where you are joining us from tonight. Please leave a comment with your city and your local time. It is a comfort to know that in these small hours, we are all part of the same global community of listeners. Sleep well, rest easy. The story continues tomorrow. The story.